afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. And we are going to be speaking on the subject, Experience Economy, the Future of Dining. We have with us Niketa Sharma from Quiche Hospitality, Chef Sarfaraz Ahmed, and Chef Nitin Tandon. Yeah, I'll pass on the mic to each of them to introduce themselves. I'm Nikhil Rochlani, the managing partner of Kaima and Butterfly High. I would like to pass on the mic to each of them to introduce themselves. We'll start with Niketa Sharma from Quiche Hospitality.
Hello everyone, good afternoon, and thank you Nikhil. It's wonderful to be over here. I think after Delhi, this is the second time that I'm here on board with Restaurant India. So my name is Niketa Sharma. I am the founder of Quiche Hospitality, which has BLA as restaurants under its belt. And I'm also the CEO and director at SP Motels, which has banquets and 4 restaurants. I am very happy to be over here and hoping to have a great session and learning a lot from you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we're over to Chef Sarfaraz Ahmed.
Thank you, Nikhil. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chef Sarfaraz. I handle operations of Trescent, Avtara, and Carnival by Trescent. These are the 3 brands that is been a part of a big Dubai chain. We own Trescent Studio, Trescent in Dubai, the Avtara, the only 3 Michelin star restaurant ever in the world which has 3 Michelin star on Indian cuisine. And we are part of a big family, although, but we are exploring our own pathways here in India, and we have been very well recognized. So hopefully we'll have a lovely session together.
Fabulous. I am Chef Nitin Tandon. I am the founder and owner of Nitin Tandon Food Styling. Nitin Tandon Food Styling is in the business of food photography and creating visual content around food and helping brands visually create larger impact for their customers, and also run another frozen dessert line business called the Fat Belly, and a wellness baking line called the Conscious Baking Project.
Sure. So thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. We'll start with the subject, the experience economy, the future of dining. Our first question for today is, how is the experience economy influencing the dining industry in India? So we'll start with you, Chef.
So, when you say the word experience, I'm so happy that our conversations are moving away from functionality to experience. I've lived in this economy of F&B where people didn't pay for packaging. And the burst of retail cost became so high, the combination of labor and retail rental is so high that the portion that you give to food is now dropped less than 20%, in banqueting less than 15%. So the experience has changed, and it came out of the need of P&L, which we will speak, I guess. And that created newer markets, luxury markets. It created mid to luxury markets. Cafes became more hip. And this is retail cost, travel, people, knowledge through the internet has already changed everything. So everything now is a world launch, thanks to the internet. When we talk about those experiences, even the food, even the service, even the decor now is a wholesome offering. Exquisite experiences are getting paid for. And sometimes, fortunately, price determines the experience as well. We say, oh, if it's so much, it will be a fabulous experience. So people are now at the era of change of the mindset. We all used to, in the back, say what will be our next restaurant, and we used to hover around between Indian, Chinese, continental, and now every kind of food is ready on the take.
Thank you, Chef. Chef, your
So my view on the same is, as it's called as experience economy, the name in itself has experience. What I believe is experience economy is more than a product, and it has got the emotion, the human touch that is already there. It has to be. There are more and more restaurants, those are developing those concepts where farm to table, nutritive value, something which is beyond the robotic service, something which has got emotional balance, which has emotions to awake. The diners can take away at least a memory to come back. That is very important when we say it's an experiential dining restaurant and or the experience economy. The restaurants which caters around progression, the restaurants which cater around tradition, that it has a balance of something which evokes an emotion or a childhood memory or probably something which people want as an element of surprise. That is what all experiential dining is to me. And if somebody comes to a restaurant and takes back a memory, he will definitely will be back. And that is how you create loyalty. You create your potential customers who come back and forth again and again for the same kind of experience. That is what experience economy, I believe, is to me.
Can I toss something else from your answer? So, Chef, I loved your answer. It was very elaborative. But I wanted to ask you one question. How important is location of your venue when it comes to providing experiential dining today? Previously, if you weren't at a prime location, you couldn't charge and you wouldn't be able to afford the cost of an experiential dining because customers paid a lot of value to location. So how important is it today as well?
So location matters for each and every aspect of business. What kind of customers you are going to deal with, what kind of people going to come in. Affordability is another thing, and when it comes to experience, people look for something which is beyond your expectations. When it is come beyond your expectations, everything matters from your the phone, the location to the phone that rings up, the hostess that picks up, the reservation experience on the call, followed by how the valet give you an experience, you enter the restaurant. So all these things happen much before when the food arrives to the table, and this is what is more important to have an impact on a diner. So I always believe that food comes the secondary, the service, the location, the extracurricular things has to be very pinpointed and has to be penned down before you think about a concept, that how it's going to be. Because these are small touch points which are very important for a customer or a guest to evoke those emotions, and that is what the memory they take off always. That is how it has to be.
Thank you, Chef. I'd like to pass this to Niketa Sharma. Niketa, I wanted to ask you a different question, connected, right? Today, there are a lot of restaurants in the quirky lanes of Bandra, which are doing very good business, extremely well, but they're not well located or easy to access. Why are they doing business if location is of paramount importance?
Hi, Nikhil. I agree with you. I mean, Bandra is known for its bylanes. It's known for its cafes for which the cars are not able to go through. You have to walk to those places. But then again, in this, I think it's the experience that matters. It is the food quality and it is the overall service that they're giving. For example, I've been to this beautiful cafe called as Pash in a bylane in Bandra. It's from Pune. It's by an entrepreneur from Pune. It's giving Ayurvedic, Sattvic, and holistic vegan food. It is giving vegetarian food and coffees and teas. The experience was wonderful. They also had a small shopping, like a retail section for crockery and for clothes for women. And they were having these hydroponic plants that they were growing all around the cafe. So for me, I would say, particularly in Bandra or in Mumbai, you can say space is a constraint. So today, being a person from Mumbai, born and brought up over here, I don't mind going that extra mile to have that experience in a restaurant like a Pash or any other in the like a Gaijin or a 1633 for its cocktails, because it is giving me an overall good experience in food, in cocktails, or even in the service. Today, the Gen Z and the millennial is ready to go that extra mile, which the previous generation didn't have the exposure for, whether thanks to the internet. Today, we have the exposure, we have the bandwidth, and as well as the spending capacity to go that extra mile and spend that money, even if we have to, हमको चाहे golf cart से लेके जाए, पैदल लेके जाए या गाड़ी से लेके जाए, doesn't matter. It's the overall experience, which is from the aesthetic to the coffee or the cocktail program that is being made, as well as the kind of dishes that they are giving is what matters. So yes, location is important. So Bandra is a great location in itself, I will say that. But being in the bylanes of Bandra is also a fantastic place to be. For example, for a Love Fools or a Pash doing very well in themselves.
Thank you so much. That was very well answered. And I would like to just add into that. I feel somewhere experiences as per location also is an experience in itself, right? Having a location in a quirky lane, it creates a different experience of sorts. The typical high street, the typical mall does not always provide the experience which, say, a Salt and Karjat provides, right?
I agree. I love Salt and Karjat.
So, yeah, I'll start with the next question. Chef, we'll start with you this time. I wanted to know how important is it to have quality manpower to provide experiential dining, and what do you do to retain them and motivate them?
See, when a restaurant starts, it's just like a small seed that has been sown. It grows with time. It grows like a small child. And so the team, so the chef, so the everyone who is around, they evolve. The biggest thing which I have experienced in these times, that everyone from your security guard to your valet to your commies to your servers who are serving, everyone should be treated with respect. That is the most important thing in this era. When you show respect, people come to you with their problems, people come to you with their suggestions. You need to be very open with them to discuss anything. That is one thing that is very important. That's how the teams get built up. And the server who is serving, it has to be trained. You need to have so much impact of time. You have training cost, you have time benefits. All those things, when you invest in somebody and within a short span of time, that person goes off, then probably the next one you need to rework again for another 6 months to get it to that position where it was. So if you will not retain them, if you will not listen to them, probably you're going to be in a big loss, because every time you're going to be only training people, you cannot progress and you cannot think of going beyond what you were doing. So you will be in a very circular thing, in a radius or a diameter, you will be get stuck and doing the same thing again and again, again and again. So you need to make people who can take support of you. You need to hold their hands to come up, and the moment they will grow, you will automatically grow in yourself. And that is how from one restaurant to two, two to three, three to four, your restaurant business will also grow, because the team who will join, for example, in 2015 as an associate, probably in 2025, if you will make him learn, train him, he will be a head chef of any of the restaurant of yours. So that's how your thinking, your positive thinking, your aesthetics of the restaurant, it is easier for you to explain to them rather than to somebody you hire at the same position who is completely fresher or completely new to your company, because every company, every restaurant has its own style. Okay, own style of working. You need little time to develop that in those individuals to whom you hire. Every new individual requires much time to get incorporated into the culture. And that time, if you will save it, you will progress in a very fast pace. That is all it's all about.
So I'm kind of making a few statements. One, I think so at a base level, we've run out of skill in India. And a lot has to be done at that level. Then let's talk about the employee himself. there are two categories, learners and jumpers. So learners tend to stay with you if the organization is teaching them and adding value besides the salary. So the basics have to be fulfilled. Unfortunately, if you look at the industry, it's a very poor paying industry. I am part of it, but I feel bad. And very laborious. So people are not leaving to join other restaurants, just the fatigue itself is making them move, right? So we, in the era of retail, restaurants lost all their front-end staff to retail when Shopper Stop and Aditya Birla and all those brands came with supermarkets. When Zomato came, you lost all your security guards, you lost all your washer boys because they gave them a bike and said, you'll earn 35,000. So respect for the number in number one. Number two is, then how do you bridge the magic because you have a P&L to handle? I think so that comes by micro ownership. If we can all bring a common goal to our employees, mark their division, make them own their section for creativity, service, performance, and everybody then moves and somebody tucks that boat, then we can expect our employees to last a little longer. Some would create excellence, some would show us the way that we would not see. And we have what they call the happy family. It's a little idealistic, but I think so, particularly with HR in restaurants and or in any chain, this seems to be the biggest ghost that is not getting addressed.
Thank you, Chef. I would like to add to that. I feel somewhere today, as you rightly said, manpower is going to be one of our biggest challenges. It is one of our biggest challenges. We lose to multiple other industries as they develop. And I feel most of us, people in F&B, all restaurateurs, hoteliers, really need to seriously sit and think, how do we set our policies and how do we humanize ourselves to a level where our attrition goes down? Because going forward, the biggest challenge of F&B in the future is going to be manpower and retention, right? And all your experiences are dependent on them. No matter how much you add AI, you add robots, you do whatever you want, you cannot humanize them. You cannot provide the experientials and the sensitivity which is required of F&B professionals, right? And kudos to our entire F&B professionals who are doing a wonderful job serving everyone. I'll pass this on to Nikita to answer the same question.
Thanks, Nikhil. So, Chef, I have a different opinion or a slightly different opinion or a statement on this. Being a small company, having a few restaurants, I have tried everything under the roof as far as I can think of, which is to retain the employees, whether it is by giving them trainings, so it is providing additional value to them from the current things that they know from their job perspective, whether it is providing fun activities to them so that, it's like a detox. We do these quarterly fun activities for our employees, whether it is bringing insurance to the table so that, insurance is a big boost to people in the F&B industry because it's not provided in our industry so common and so often, or whether it is through ex gratia being provided to them during Diwali or Christmas or whichever festival that the company follows. I still feel that the retention is becoming a task because the number of restaurants that are opening is more than the supply is more than the demand. And today, even for $1,000, me and Nikhil have had this conversation multiple times, even for $1,000 or 500 rupees, they are ready to leave a company in which they've been working for 2.5 years, getting insurance, getting ESICPF, getting trainings, getting everything. So I feel like an organization is needed wherein somewhere there's some control given to the a structure is made, I feel, in the F&B industry because we're still very disorganized. How much ever, whether there's people are funding this industry, like left, right and center, our industry is getting funded by big corporates. But I feel the micro level problems are not being addressed too. You know, whether it's the loyalty factor to be created or whether it is, you know, a structure being created as to, there is no contract. Suppose if I am getting a steward on board for 15 grand or 18 grand, there's no contract with him. Like how in MNCs people have contracts that you cannot leave us and you cannot work with our competitor. There is nothing like that still formalized in our industry, which I feel is very important from an employer perspective because of the amount of time, energy, money that we put into transforming these people, where they are working with us as an assistant steward and we want to grow them to become a captain, or they're working as a commie too and we see potential for them to become a DCDP with us. Any of these levels that we want to see them grow, but it takes time. Even in the corporate ladder, you start becoming an intern, then you become after probation a permanent employee, and then you climb the corporate ladder. That structure, I feel, is really, really lacking in our industry. And being a small MSME organization or a corporation, we are hands-on in this kind of a job. Like Nikhil and I have dealt with such situations before. Like हम personally बात करते हैं लोगों के साथ. You know, it's not like I have directors on board or anybody. I'm not a massive or a impresario yet. So I really feel a solution needs to be brought and more contractualization or organization to be brought to this.
So I have one interesting observation. I have two companies. On the left door, I have F&B, and on the right door, I have a media studio business. Just has the same floor, right? My Moriwala or my washer guy gets paid 12K, 14K, 15K. My spot boy in my studio gets paid 25K. Why is this disparity?
But then service charge भी तो मिलता है ना.
तो चलो 4,000 रुपए सर्विस चार्ज मिलेगा.
तो 18K.
हाँ, 18K होएगा. If you look at the union salary provided in media, for the lowest rung, it's 3,000 rupees per day. What is ours? Ours is 600 rupees, 800 rupees. How can anybody live in Bombay in 18,000 rupees with his mother also? Forget him being married. I want to learn that magic. He has to sleep on the bus, which he comes and goes by. So it's unreal, right? And when I saw my first salary slip in the Taj, in the 80s, it was your salary is 800 rupees, then your washing fee is so much, then your uniform fee is like that, then we are going to give you meals. Therefore, it became 1,500. But take home was 800, right? So these are costs, but our disparity is huge from the reality of which city our employees are living, right? If we do not increase or do not fill his tummy, his mind will never be full. I absolutely appreciate insurance, blah, 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 really fills the mind, fills stability. But he is not fed. If he is fed, his mother is not fed. I mean, just imagine, guy who's getting 20,000 rupees, when will he buy a TV in life? He can't buy one. So, that's not our accountability, but basically I feel somewhere we've completely missed the bus.
A standardization needs to be brought.
Yes,
from
we
the salary
completely missed the
perspective.
bus.
Can I jump in, Chef? I have a quick question. Do you feel we restaurateurs are lacking on this front?
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
feel the government is lacking on this front by keeping our costs so high that we don't cross an EBIT of 20% on most months?
When I first interacted with Cafe Coffee Day as a model, they said our budget is 25% of sale to 35% of sale should go to rental. 5 to 9% should go to salary. Because 1% will run the entire store. It worked absolutely well in the US. It didn't work absolutely. You still go to the coffee shop, barring one or two, everybody is still pushing a menu card in front of you. Right? We are a culture where if I turn around, I should have a waiter in my restaurant. He should be there only for me. So if you're pampered food culture, we are going to be very heavily labor driven. Either we change our models.
But then when you're labor driven, I mean from P&L perspective, I cannot sell an idli for, which is 120 rupees, I cannot sell it for 200 rupees. Nobody will buy it.
I am completely do not agree with you. Completely do not agree with you. Order idli from Zomato right now, it will be 200 rupees. In your restaurant, it will be 140 rupees.
Yeah.
And
So
we'll
the
see-
elasticity and ability to pay has completely lost dimension.
I think Nikhil wants to add to this for sure.
Yeah.
Because I fight with him on this.
So we debate on this, but I feel this cannot happen by a single unit. This has to happen at an industry level. So if we all decide unanimously, we reduce our man force, our labor force by 20%, or we increase the selling price by 20%, that's the only way we can survive. Because with the current EBITDAs, at the current cost of manpower, we can't afford to increase their salaries. And we, at the current price point, the way they're competing and the way aggregators are coming in and forcing us to discount a 50%, a 60%,
So
a
what is
30%.
happening? If there are 10,000 cloud kitchens opening, 6,000 must be closing now. One, because the model is not working. The value chain is gone.
Cloud kitchens are a failed model as per me as well,
It's not working.
unless they are existing in an existing setup as an add-on revenue.
So it's just the
I agree.
Uber was not a dedicated taxi service. Uber started as a, if you have nothing to do when you come home in New York and want to drive a car at night and make some extra money, that's how Uber took birth. Cloud kitchens will only survive that way. Our labor models have to change. We have to enter automation. We have to get into part frozen, part convenience food into our systems. I am that same chef who used to make 60 liters and 100 liters of mayonnaise, everything. I don't even remember the recipe of mayonnaise. Right? So, we have to, may not happen at fine dining, it may happen at, so basically your P&L costs are shifting. Your labor has to come down because he's an emotion. He's an emotion.
Yeah.
The product can be dabbled up and down. There is great technology, there is cold chain, there is great holding. So therefore, QSRs are being able to kind of muscle a price.
There's retorted food. There's
Retorted food.
There's multiple options when it comes to that, chef, and I agree with you. But my point in question is this transformation has to happen at industry level, because when an individual tries to change the world, he's just going to fall, right?
No, you know the magic in this, try overpaying your staff. Na? Where will you go?
I agree, but you won't have a
Then
P&L.
your model has to work.
Chef, I understand, but you won't have a P&L left to survive the war.
That's what, because the P&L is, so I'm going to connect this conversation to the earlier conversation, location. What is the contribution in Bombay for your rental vis-a-vis your
20 to
food?
25%.
25, 28, you go and say, wow, क्या जगह है, 12 लाख धंधा है, कर लेंगे यार 1 crore, right? If you are moving from prime location to unique location, spending 1.5 to 2 years on massive brand building, and then you're getting customers to come to locations where they were not ready to come, like Sabco or Lovefuls or Pash in Bandra. How are they succeeding? What is their rental?
So I got a suggestion. Instead of a Zomato's giving a 20, 30, 40% discounting, they should force restaurateurs that we are adding 10% more towards your staff,
Yes.
20% more towards your staff, and that's the incentive for customers to visit. Let's change the conversation. Let's change the dialogue.
Dialogue, yeah, that will change. See, if you want people to own businesses, micro owners to run businesses, do I look at data, come to my restaurant and say, okay, this month I sold more tandoori items, less curry items, no mithai items. Then why should I incentivize my mithai guy?
Correct. So
Are we working data? But if I'm a washing machine, Samsung, he will look at how well my mobile division is doing, how well my TV division is doing. He'll incentivize category-wise. Are we doing that? We are not
your
doing
data
that.
should be able to support that, because you're running with everyone is running short on manpower due to attrition at some
Yes.
point or the other, no matter how well you staff. People are shifting tables. You can't keep track. Your data points are inaccurate. Who sold what?
Yeah,
how
yeah,
much have they
yeah.
sold? But chef, I have a suggestion. Say, for example, today, if you see your Uber, as you rightly mentioned, as a good example, right? They added an option because a lot of their cabs started rejecting rides left, right, center. So they added an option, tip the driver, which the
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
money goes to the driver. So why not tip our waiters? Why don't we figure out a way as an industry to incentivize a Zomato and a Swiggy to add, okay, 5% of whatever you bill will go additionally to your servers directly.
You know, internal competitiveness within the organization is the most beautiful thing. So when I was Bachcha and Taj, he'll say, मैं जब इस supper club जाएगा ना, you'll do well, you'll go to supper club, right? You'll move from cafe to fine dining. Are we dividing our organizations internally and saying, you guys are competing these guys? Is bar competing kitchen? What's your number last month? There's data, right? Which is the waiter who sold most cocktails. We are doing employee of the month and giving them 500 rupees. Right?
That's pathetic.
I'm part of the same.
We all are.
Yeah, right?
Guilty as
So
charged.
something is unreal in our head.
So, Chef, I believe F&B started like this, as you rightly said. The fine dines previously had section-wise targets, and each section was competing with the other. They divided a restaurant into 4 parts or 6 parts, and each part was competing, and the winning part every day took the tips for the day. Or there were different ways, everyone structured as per their individual company policies or their management decisions or their collective wisdom, right? But yeah, I feel somewhere as an industry, this is a longer conversation and we should elaborate on this when we sit with NRAI or AHAR, because this conversation can go on for the next 12 hours and we won't stop. But anyways, I'd like to continue on subject, since I think we've elaborated too much on this one question. I want to go a little, you can say imaginative. Tell me as a chef, what is the wildest imagination is something you want to do? Like say, for example, in COVID, Chef Gagan Anand tried to buy a hill in Japan to build a Michelin star restaurant. So what is it that one goal which you feel is not achievable, but which you really want to do? That is, in my eyes, the experience economy. So what is that one experience you want to sell, however unrealistic it is?
No, unimaginable is, for me, obviously, when you tell me to answer, it will emit more out of my passion as a chef. I spend lots of time in media, so I would want to make a paradise for the unanswered artist. He's an artist, you're an artist, she's an artist. The guy who braids hair is an artist, the guy who pets. And to get a largest art community where we are vibing out in a place where each person is allowed to express. For me, that will be like the end.
So like
That
a war
has-
of the DJs?
Yeah, like the one.
So that has to be a non-judgmental zone wherein everybody is only appreciating each other, only taking inspiration from each other and not thinking of each other as competition.
Absolutely.
When hands
Spot
down
on.
you come with a clean slate and you go back with a mind and heart full and a stomach, because we are in F&B, with a stomach full of love and gratitude.
That's why I said mind, heart, and soul. You have to fulfill every part of that mind space.
Yeah.
Okay, when we imagine something as a chef, we want everything to be very perfect, from location to your food to your service to everything. But any restaurant around the world will not have all the parameters tick right. Okay, there will be something or other missing. So when we say unimaginable thing for me is when we tick up our checklist, which is 101% all the rights. Just imagine a scenery that you have probably made in your childhood where there is some mountains, there is a stream going on, there is some green grass, there is some trees, and you get your restaurant in between somewhere. But is it possible to have in this era? there will be some or other factor missing. Either there will be temperature will be missing, either there will be sunshine which will be missing, either there will be too much of noise of birds probably. So this is something which as a chef I want to create, but that is something which is almost unachievable. If I will find a location, or I'll tell you a restaurant which has 90% of this aesthetics being placed, is Hisa Franco in Slovenia, helmed by Chef Anna Rose. If you will reach to the restaurant, you will find the sound of stream coming in through the pebbles. You have a big greenery, you have clouds, you have temperature, you have almost all the aesthetics. But still, it's very hard to go there. So there is one parameter which is missing. You need to do a lot of hard work to reach over there. So there could be a restaurant somewhere in future which is easy to go and has all the parameters. That is something which I imagine.
That will be via VR. You'll be sitting at home and imagining it. I think we'll be perfectly placed. But Chef, I would like to say, I would like to share my views on the same. Very rightly put that no restaurant will be perfect. But as artists, we've got a blank canvas. We can do the best with what we've got, with the colors we've got, with the canvas we've got, with the vision we've got, right? We can create the best out of what we've got rather than waiting for the perfect, the idealistic economy, the idealistic country, the idealistic city. They will never exist. Humans will always want more and we'll never stop. But I think that thirst to keep achieving more and exceeding what we've done last time, or exceeding what veterans like yourself have created in this industry, we would love to, not compete, but take inspiration and exceed, right? In some way or the other. We will try and better ourselves, taking your high standards as a parameter. Now, somewhere, this conversation has moved on to, since we reached VR, right? I would like to understand how important do you feel VR is in creating experientials today, and how do you feel in your restaurant you can inculcate it?
See, I'm not against VR or AR actually. I always say that technology is a tool which can enhance the experience. Just imagine you are experiencing something which has been cooked in front of you. There is a hotel in Delhi which gives you a VR experience. You go, you sit in the restaurant, and you have been passed on a little tab, and you request that I want to see how my food is being made. So in the kitchen there is a camera. The order goes in. He can see what is being prepared, how the chef is preparing his meal, and then it comes to your table. So this is one example where yes, people have acceded to use VR, but I would say, as my perspective, AR is much more better, because when we say about AR, you are physically at that place and you have enhanced the experience by using a technology which can aggregate the sense of sound or smell or vision or anything. One restaurant that I dined in Italy, 3 Michelin star restaurant, it has got a plate specially designed with some headphones. You put on your headphones, and then you have got 6 small bites to eat. And the moment your fork will touch the plate, it makes a sound. That sound, when it makes you realize that something has awakened and shaken inside your mind. That has a sense that has been awakened. You take a bite from there with a cracker. You put it in your mouth. From the time you took it, from the time it is in your mouth, you can feel everything like a noise coming into your mouth, and then you can feel the crunch, you can feel different textures coming into your mouth, which actually enhances your dining experience. So that is how restaurants are using AR, and that is how it should be. It should enhance rather than deteriorate your experience. If it is used in a certain manner where it enhances, I am always with it.
Over to you, Niketa. Thank you, Chef.
So one of the first VR experiences that I saw was done by Hakkasan. They have recently done a 5-course meal with the use of AI, and even Google Gemini was when it was launched. With Chef Saransh Goila, they did a AI experience of the Eden Garden, if I'm not wrong. So VR is important, and I think it will be from fine dining and from a restaurant like Trescent or a Hakkasan, it will even move on to casual dining. But I feel that's 5 years down the line. But yes, AI definitely. From business perspective, AI can help us in analyzing the data. It can help us in understanding what the customer is really ordering, which is from knowing the APC to the number of dishes being ordered, to the repetition of the customer, and to making sure that the customer retention is being made. I think AI can do a fabulous job in that. We're currently in talks with a company to help us in formalizing that data in all of our restaurants centrally, and also from sending WhatsApps to reminders that, hi, we missed you, or the data loyalty points to be created. Everything which was done manually or done only through a certain systems that were available in the F&B sector, I think AI will add a huge part in understanding future consumer preferences as well as spending power from a business perspective. So even from having the costings being cut down to understanding is the marketing doing very well, where is the ROI of the marketing coming from. I think in all of these perspectives, beyond Google Analytics, beyond social media analytics, I think AI analytics and data is the data being drawn into these AI funnels is going to really help us a lot. So the future is great. I think if used positively, it will add well to the business as well as the F&B industry.
Over to you, Chef.
So I think so. Any tech that comes into our life has its phases. So analytics is awesome because that, but on the build factor, I think so. It will first be automation and AI automation. So if we take labor, and if a robot is going to serve you room service, which has AI and this, then we tackle labor, we tackle automatic dispensing of coffee, stirring stir fries. And I was in China and I saw a lot of these machines. They are there, they are today. They're not tomorrow. And if you go to a saladero and somebody is creating a saladero for you, there's gimmick, there's mind pleasing, there is, what do you say, there is no nonsense. I don't need to deal with somebody say, no, this sauce won't be there. There's no argument, right? So it's going to take part away of the emotion, create more comfort in certain kind of models.
Yeah, like the ramen place in Bangalore.
Yes, the ramen place.
Yeah.
So if that can happen, will it come, it will come faster, particularly with the conversation we had about labor and kind of models where no nonsense is required. That will be the first.
Quick service.
Yeah, no
Aao,
nonsense.
khao, jao.
Yes.
We're actually running kind of short of time, so
We'll just
quickly
summarize with
wrap it up.
one last
Yes.
question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Chef, for your wonderful insights. And I think they're telling us to leave now. So we need to wind up quickly with one last question. But I want to start with this one. This is something close to my heart as a restaurateur. What I personally believe, we as creators, as restaurateurs, as F&B service professionals or whatever line we are in, we at every given point, we do see the financial angle to it, the bottom line to your P&L at every point. What is that one thing which each one of you do for your soul, where you don't do it for the money, you just do it because it's a good product, it's a good experiential, and you're not looking at a margin or a bottom line. Like say, for example, I'll start with me. When I'm sitting on my liquor menus, there are certain spirits, like say back in the day, there was Kati Patang. That is the only item on my menu which I didn't see the margin. I didn't negotiate with him on cost because the product was so beautiful. Right? What is that one item which you serve in your restaurant where you don't see money or margin?
I think so. Every creativity is your passion, and then it is your extension. And they say, "Isme nahi kamaya to maza aaya," right? So for all of us, it's going to be different. I'm in the supply business. From my food, it goes to another customer. But when I'm catering, and if a customer is saying, "Give me so much, and I'll pay you this money," I'm saying, "Khana kitna bhi kha lo." Like we need to see abundance. We need, and then how do you create cost at the back is your game. Because our mothers never counted when they fed us.
I would like to add on this, how experiential restaurants have been developed, how Trescent has evolved. I'll give you our own example. If I'll create a dish, keeping cost in mind, probably I will not be able to create what the level of dish we need to serve at Trescent. We never think of cost when it comes to creation because creativity doesn't come when you have figures in your mind. It is not almost impossible to create something. You have a budget that I want to create something with 100 rupees, you will only be able to create the value which is 100. I don't want to create a value of 100. I always want to give, if somebody is spending 100 rupees, I want to give back a value of 120. That is only possible when you have your creative mind which is have full freedom. The freedom is very necessary to create new things. Our restaurant changes the menu every 4 months, every seasonality. You have a 14-course menu, you need to change at least 9 dishes in 4 months. Similarly goes to Aftara, 9 to 10 dishes there. Similarly goes to Carnival. So see, span of time of 3 months, I have to create around 30 new dishes. And that 30 new dishes is impossible if every time I'm thinking about cost and cost. So at certain level, I don't think about cost. I create the product first, and then we make sure that we recover the cost out of it.
Sorry, we all have to cut short. I think Nikita, quickly you can summarize and we'll just say a goodbye.
Chef, you have the liberty of doing this because you are working with Carnival and Trescent. Unfortunately, all of us are not at that level yet. But from me, for the creativity, I think Nikhil knows the creativity in which I do not think of a limit or the ROI is definitely crockery and the plating up. I go all out in that and my chefs are very happy with me because of this. Chef Rahul says that निकिता पे छोड़ दो, वो कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा लेके ही आ जाएगी जो मुझे भी मालूम है budget के ऊपर होगा, but I know she will get it and I know it will look fabulous in that. So that is one department that I feel I don't look into the ROI aspect. And because visually the plating up needs to be beautiful for me on a personal note before I even taste it. So that is one aspect. Thank you so much everyone for having me on board. Thank you Nikhil, thank you Chef. It has been wonderful meeting you all and learning from you all. Thank you.